Just preparing. Okay, and I think we are live on YouTube. Let me just bring my video on. Sometimes it goes off. Okay, hopefully you can see me.
I can see you.
Yay, so thank you so much, Nancy. This is so exciting.
Thank you for asking me. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, it's so amazing. It feels like a long time coming, and it's such a pleasure to share you with the world and to just explain. I'd love to to talk about your journey so far. Like go right back to the beginning in your life, and I'd love to take us gradually all the way through to the present and what you have planned for the future. And just so everyone knows, we set up our kind of protection before the session, and we also, for fun, invited in Nancy's guides to assist with the conversation, so questions and interactions. So I'm sure that'll be exciting. Never done that before.
Oh, I'm privileged.
And also, yeah, we know each other. I'm sure that will come up in the journey. But yeah, if you'd like to start by introducing yourself, and let's take it from there.
Okay, where to begin? Okay, well, I'll begin where I met you.
Okay.
And then I'll give a little backstory, I guess, about my experience, how I even got to meet you. And that was during a period of my life where I was, wow, I can feel the energy feels really, really strong right now. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I purposely did not have coffee today because I knew it would be too much. And John, I remember you. Are you still a big coffee drinker?
Oh yeah, I love it. I've had a lot today.
Oh,
maybe
no.
That's what you're tapping into.
Yeah, so I was in the middle of the transition of shifting out of a toxic relationship after 12 years. I wasn't there yet, but I was doing a lot. I had a burnout. I was doing a lot of meditation and self-love work. And then I came upon Unbiased and on the Fence, the YouTube channel, where you were part of, and as well as many others who hopefully will be here today and get to reunite. And it is from Unbiased and on the Fence and Shane, the host, and the male figures in that group that introduced to me that there are men that exist who have a balance between the male-female energy. There were gentlemen, kind, and just, in touch with the emotion and able to communicate. And I've never had that experience in my life. The examples of men in my life were very different, very narcissistic, very controlling, authoritative, more authoritarian. And through this process of getting to know people in the group, and I was going through awakenings as well, I can't say it was just one big awakening. It was like a gradual process. And, I made so many connections in the group. And I think for 2 years, we were really, really deep in it with each other. And then eventually I left that relationship that I was in because I found more self-love for myself. I realized that I loved myself more than this person was loving me, at least in the way that I needed it. And I wanted to give it to myself. And so anyway, find my way out of it into this place, this condo that I've been renting for 4 years now, which I'm in the process of shifting out of here now. And I'll get to that a little later. So when we all came together to meet at ECETI Ranch in Mount Washington, is that right? Mount Adams, Washington?
Yeah.
That was such a magical experience that we had, isn't it? Wasn't it?
It is, and I just want to say a quick hello to Rita and Rennie, who are with us already. You
Yay!
must have been calling them in.
Yes. Hey, Pocahontas sister. Hey, Rita. Oh, so glad you guys are here. Oh, that's great. So that experience at ECETI was just so magical, and it was the first trip that I ever did on my own, where I wasn't attached with the partner who, controlled the tickets and all the organization or anything. This was and I was a bit afraid to go, but uh, I felt, I was meant to go. I needed to go and meet you all in person. And
Yeah,
what a magical, magical experience. Uh, you and I in the field with Eileen, dear Eileen,
yeah.
and Shiny. I'll always remember that. Uh, Holding your hand in the field, running around like kids. It was like you were my big brother, and I was so like afraid of the experiences, and you guys were so much braver than me, but I just felt safe to be around with you. It's as if the culmination of our physical selves together, even though we know we're connected energetically, but coming together like that, just it really just, I think the lights that we had within us just upgraded and expanded from that
Yeah,
experience,
I'm getting
so that we could,
like shivers, like
oh
sparkles.
yeah, exactly, so that we can go out into the world afterwards and
Yeah.
spread that, and spread, that mission. Yeah, I've got goosebumps too.
Yeah,
That was
that
an
was incredibly powerful. And as you said, like I felt that that experience, um, it was we amplified each other's gifts, and like almost immediately began behaving how I would describe maybe a psychic, or like I had all these labels in my head, and I'm like, oh, that's not me. That's what these are the gifts that other people have. And then when I like connected with you and Sherry and Aileen and Shane, and there's like so many people, with Rennie and Rita here as well. It's like all these interactions were just like it was such an incredible experience. Um, and in at that time, did you did you have much of an awareness about your gifts at that time, like before you went to ECETI, or any expectations about what you would explore at that time?
what I know is that I just felt I belonged somewhere. I was part of, I was with like-minded people, and I was part of this group that was here for this mission.
Yeah,
Um, Before having gone there, I did have an experience in the middle of the night where I woke up and I felt this wave of, at the time, people were talking about this wave that was coming through the earth, through the planet of codes, light codes, or I think it was the rainbow wave. I'm
yeah,
not quite sure, but I remember it woke me up. I, I felt like pure, unconditional love. And I was just floating. I felt like I was floating above in my bed, and it lasted about 20 minutes. And I was like, oh no, I want that back.
yeah,
It was so incredible. And I was still with my ex at the time, but it wasn't long after that where I ended up leaving. So coming from there, no, I don't think any of my gifts started to come on right away, but my trust in it,
yeah,
my trust in the world behind the world was there, because I was surrounded with so many people also who were connected and had a little more experience than me. So it was as if I was the apprentice in class, and
yeah.
now I'm on another level.
That's incredible. And I, because what I witnessed at the time, this was 2019, right?
Uh,
Um,
2018,
2018. Wow.
Lionsgate 2018, right?
Um,
Time
and
flies.
it does. And I felt like whilst everyone goes through their own journey and they have their own gifts, and every aspect of it is unique, and that is super beautiful. And what's so important about what you're describing is that it's without expectation. Like you're not. I I did have some expectation before I went. I thought, I just kept getting the sense that something's going to happen, and it's going to change my kind of my human mind, my view of my reality, and perception, like self-perception. I just didn't know what it was that I was going to experience. And I felt that with you, you were just much more open and much more like able to observe, and but also to experience. Like, it's everything that everyone else experienced, you saw too, and you felt it and you saw it, and your senses were like super heightened. Whether it was, like UFOs that we're seeing around the mountain, or we saw stuff in the fields. We saw like between us, we could see, like between three of
The
us, we could
orbs
see like
flying by.
yeah, that's right. And the big storm that came over later, like there's just, the list is endless. And yeah, I think that's really powerful, because I get a lot of when I'm doing client sessions, I get a lot of questions about what's my gift and what's next for me in my journey. And I think it's so beautiful to just acknowledge, in your journey, you've had such a powerful experience without expectation, and that is truly incredible, because it's a real lesson for us all. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, John.
Um, and yeah, please, I interrupted, so please continue your journey through
Oh,
ECETI.
let's see. After that, well, I did. In fact, I had started seeing somebody at the time as well, which I thought I was on another level now. Okay, I'm with somebody who's not like my ex, not narcissistic, someone who respects my space, um, and my time, only to realize later on, after 2 years, in fact, John, you know what's really funny? I had all the red flags, but I ignored them.
Yeah,
Almost every month, I would feel this doubt within me, and then I would have a talk with my partner, and then he would explain, well, it's understandable. You were 12 years in a relationship, you have these fears, yada yada, and of course that would soothe me
yeah,
temporarily.
yeah,
But in hindsight now, I realized that was my intuition speaking to me that I've been ignoring most of my life.
yeah.
So also within this time, let's say after the ECETI, oh, we had the beautiful experience. I hope Kate will come on. We had the beautiful meditation at Kate's place for the 11/11 in November. And that was really fun. And Rita was there as well, and Jody, Reiki medium. And the day that we did, Eileen had recorded a meditation, a guided meditation for us, and we had done it over in Kate's place. And then that evening, we saw, it's so funny, we saw these uh, like sparks in the sky, these colors in the evening, and we're like, what's this? What was this? And we said, oh, it's true. It's a Veterans Day in the States and in Canada, uh, Remembrance Day, but we figured it was fireworks,
Yeah.
just to find out later on that it was actually a meteor
Wow.
that came down. And there was actual footage in the news of the meteor just where the St. Louis, Missouri, what do you call the archway?
Yeah.
There's footage of the meteor kind of like looking like as if it went like through the archway. It
Wow.
was so cool. And then the next day, I'm a tourist too at the same time. So I'm like, oh, well, how can we go and visit over there? So we had gone and done the ride up in the elevator and everything. So it was super, super cool. That was so gracious of Kate to allow me to stay at her place. I had such a wonderful time. And so after that is not too long after that, we on Unbiased on the Fence, when Cornelius Christopher came on. I remember May 29th, actually is in a few days, it's going to be 2 years ago that he first came on to the show and told his story. And I knew from that moment with his story that I was like, oh my goodness, I need to work with this person. I need to get to know this person. I I I knew that I still had a lot of work to clear it within me.
Mm.
And I've been with the group for the last 2 years. And for the last year and a half, literally since January, so it's about a year and a half almost that I've been doing daily, almost daily activation meditations with the group. And my life just keeps transforming. It's absolutely incredible. Back in October, I decided to leave my job. I was waitressing for 25 years, and I was at this one place for 18 years, and I decided
Wow.
to leave it. It was the hardest thing for me to do because the program is, you've been there 18 years, you have seniority, you have security, it's good money, it's flexible. But the environment, because I was raising my frequency, listening to Jon Binnie's songs as well throughout the time.
Every day.
And it just, as you raise your frequency, things that do not match with it will start to fall away, and it'll push you, it'll force you sometimes. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, okay, if I leave this job, do I do it with full confidence, or do I do it biting my nails? And I was told, no, you do it, you jump into the unknown, you do it in the fear. And I went into work after I had one of the meditations with the group, and I went right in, and I had it in my mind, and my heart was just like pumping. And I heard two waiters starting in the staff room, actually in the changing room, two waitresses starting to complain about their schedule or whatnot. And right then I went, that's my cue. So I just went around the corner to another room, and I emailed the bosses with gratitude, of course. I said, I'm going to give my 2 weeks notice. Thank you. Even though there was a lot of issues with the business, and so much demand on us with the pandemic and everything. It was a rough summer last year. And I just said, I'm so grateful for the 18 years. I've had so much history with that place. I've had the son of my father, the father of my son, Nicholas, the memories connected with that. My ex of 12 years, we worked at the same place for 12 years. And then the next partner after that as well for 2 years. So it was time to jump out of that and make that decision, jump into the unknown. And the line that I wrote into my work pad for maybe a month was something that Cornelia says often. And it's, when you jump into the unknown, or when you create an unknown, you no longer live a familiar past nor a predictable future. So you completely change your course. You completely change what's going to happen next. So I had a little bit of money saved up, because my plan was to move to Vancouver, BC this summer. Last summer, it came into my consciousness, Vancouver, the ocean, the mountains. And I was like, why is this coming into my mind? And then when I spoke with my son about it, he's like, he looked it up. He's like, Mom, we got to go there. We got to go there. And I'm like, really? Wow. I'm like, okay. He was 16 at the time. And I always felt that you needed to stay near family. All my sisters are here, my nephews, my nieces, my parents. I always felt like you had to stay near family. And I always admired other people who had the courage to go out and live somewhere else and experience something new. And my son said to me, listen, we're going to do this, and don't allow family to discourage us. Or not him. He can handle this. Don't allow family to discourage you. So I was like, okay, so let's wait a month. Let's wait a month and see if we still feel the same way in a month. And we did. So we announced it to my parents, and they couldn't really say much, and we had to announce it to his father, of course, because it's far. We're going from Montreal to the other end of the country. So now, I'm going a little bit back and forth. So I leave my job. I have a little bit of money saved up. The plan was to continue working at that job, because it was really good. It was busy, and I was piling some money. I was like, okay, good. You know what they say about plans, right? There's a saying, they say, don't make plans, because I forgot what the saying is. Somebody must know what the saying is, but they changed because I ended up leaving my job, and I didn't have a backup. So on top of that, I left my job with no other job. There's another old programming. Don't you find a job first before you leave your job, right? But I
Yeah.
took a leap of faith and I said, okay, I kind of did speak with somebody somewhere else and she was willing to hire me. And I realized I wasn't ready to go in right away because I was mourning a big chunk of my life by leaving that place.
Yeah.
So I figured, let me take a 4 weeks off and just live off of the little savings that I had. It'll
Yeah.
come back, you know?
Yeah.
And so I did. And then some people in the group even donated to me. I was so touched because Cornelius sent me a message and he said somebody in the group anonymously wants to send you this amount of money, and I would be like, why would they do that? And he said because you share your experience with the group and they're so inspired by you know what you're doing by
Yeah.
leaving your job, and they know you're a single mom. And so I was just like so touched. So just to know that consciousness has your back when you take that step, when you jump into the unknown, when you're aligning to the path that you're supposed to get to, everything's going to fall into place. And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. I
Yeah.
know you do, because what what you've done in the last few years is absolutely incredible. You're manifesting everything that you wanted to do, and I admire you. And I watch how you go sometimes. I'm not always on, John, but
Yeah.
I'm always like you from the group. I see you every day, because
Yeah.
on Instagram, I see you every day, so like
Yeah.
you're a constant, and I see the evolution, and I've been admiring that, and even sometimes I'll be honest, like my ego would be like, how come I'm not there yet? How come I'm not there yet? But like I've let it go because I know everyone has their own timing. It's all in divine timing, right?
Yeah. And I
So
want to just pause you for a second and just acknowledge the bravery that you have, like to step into the unknown like that, to take that leap of faith is just incredible. And it it fell, I've taken a partial leap in that direction. Like I've gone part-time and from 5 days a week to 3 days a week. And that I found really difficult. It's because we're parents, we have families, and we have loved ones around us, and friends, and work colleagues or ex-work colleagues, and it's one test to leap in your faith to say, okay, I'm going to take this brave step forwards, but then you've got to try and explain it to everyone else, and they look at you like, what are you doing? So tell me, what's your plan? You're like, good news, my plan is no plan. My plan is to trust that.
yes.
And I think I had caught a glimpse of one of your Instagram stories today, and I think it was about creating your reality. And it's like I always imagine like this kind of toroidal field just in front of us as humans, and that it's constricted by our today's programming. Like
Yes.
someone said to me, I can't remember who it was recently, said job, job, stands for just over broke, or something similar to that, which is like it's almost like this kind of enslavement trap of
Yes.
continually convincing you that you are not abundance, that the company that you work for is abundance, or the person you work for is abundance, and therefore they will give you abundance when you deserve it. But the really weird thing is that the ironic thing is that actually you are completely abundance in it. And so when you leave a company, that's why companies are really sad to see people leave, because they're taking their abundance with them. They're leaving it all behind and saying, I don't really need a plan because I am my plan. My plan is to be a happy, healthy human and live out this amazing journey. And yeah, and I also want to acknowledge that there are so many people, including there'll be some people in the chat, and people watching in the playback, to just pause on that kind of moment of fear that you stepped through, right? Where you've said, here's this fear of 18 years, that you said, in the same job, of the same program, and at many times not believing that you're worthy enough, maybe for that job or for the next job, and then saying, I see you, fear, you're a door to me, I'm just going to open you up, I'm going to walk straight through you, and on the other side of that is my dream. And I just want to applaud you, and I can just like, I just have this vision of all your guides, like just so happy. Like it doesn't, like the rest doesn't matter from now on, doesn't matter, because you've done it. You've done the hardest thing, which is to, to trust in yourself and take that leap. So well done and congratulations.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Jon, because the work is fighting off, well, not so much fighting off, but not listening to the programs, not listening to the voice that's telling you, because what it is really, when you try to make a decision from the mind slash brain, okay, this is all coming from the subconscious. It's either your mother that's responding, your father that's responding, society, religion, school, the movies, teachers. It's that's making the decision. It's the I should have, I could have, I should not, I would not. But the decisions need to be made from the heart, and we're not taught to make the decisions from the heart. The heart only gives one answer, and it gives the one true answer.
Yeah.
So it's that constant, fight, that constant negotiation in the mind, So it's been a lot of inner work to get through this, to get to where I am now, because I did have a lot of low self-esteem. And I did, so this is going to tie in. So let me switch to, so I left my job. I was living off some of the savings. I got a few donations. And then one day, this life coaching email came to me, and I knew about this life coaching school here in Montreal,
Yeah.
life coaching academy, and I knew about it, and I was, slightly interested in it, but it went out of my mind. So I watched the video, the introduction of it, and you have to put in your email for you to be able to watch the video, and I was like, oh wow, that sounds really interesting. But then I put it out of my mind. And when I was younger, I used to dream that I was giving motivational speeches.
Wow.
But as I grew up, like I remember I would speak my teenage years or my early 20s, I would speak to adults that were, way older than me, and they would be like, oh wow, your perspective on life is incredible. Um, you have an old soul, you know so much, But then that ego and the old programming of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, always came in. And I
Yeah.
always attracted these relationships that that dimmed my light. And there was no emotional support to the things that I was connected with. And I've tried, I've taken Reiki healing courses 2 times in a matter of 10 years. And I never went through with it as a practice. I did it like for friends and stuff, but then ended up kind of dropping out of it. I took feng shui courses. I took energy, Thai yoga, so many different things, but I never followed through. I ended up coming back to the familiar, which was, the job that I was doing, and that's all that I'll be able to do in my life.
Yeah.
So now with coherence healing, and by the way, that's what you saw on my Instagram today. That's from that's from Coherence Healing for Cornelius. So with that work, with those meditations, we're taught not to, it's not about quieting the mind. It's really about understanding that the mind is not who you are. So eventually this insecurity, and again, that was so scary, but I left that last relationship also, and that was a hard thing to do, but I felt like I needed to do it, and I'm glad I did. Okay, so I'm sorry, I am backtracking. I'm so sorry this happens.
No, it's great.
That's 3D Nancy.
Yeah, time is an illusion.
So this life coaching program pops up. This looks so interesting. And then the next day, the coach calls me, the teacher calls me that has the academy school, and she tells me a little bit about herself. She was an electrical engineer for many years, and she left that job to become a life coach, and she developed the school. She's had it for 12 years here in Montreal, and now it's become international since the pandemic. So, we ended up doing it online. But she asked me, I told her about what my experience has been lately, what I've been doing with coherence healing, understanding and learning about the subconscious mind and clearing old belief systems out of the energetic body. And, like you're doing darkness clearing. So you're clearing out all this stuff that's blocking us from where we're supposed to be going, right?
Yeah.
And she said, would you like to do a Zoom call? And I said, absolutely. So we booked a Zoom call, November 11th, I remember. And I was just mind blown. And she was mind blown by my story as well, and my experiences. And I felt like, wow, this would be an incredible fit at the same time as coherence healing. And I always wanted to do work in my life where I could inspire and empower other people. But like I said, I never felt good enough. Yeah. And where the program came in is when she told me the price at the end. And she said, if you get in today, you're going to get a deal. And the old program just kind of hit me. And I was like, it's like all the old past things. I never went for it. I never invested in myself, a big step.
Yeah.
And she said something to me that just reminded me of the other group. And I was like, no, this is my message. If I don't do this now, when am I going to do it? Now is the time. The time is now. And before she even finished speaking, I said, no, I'm in. And I worked it out. I got a balance transfer on my credit card. It's just everything kind of was falling into place to get me where I need to be, to help me to move forward. Because, our mission is really to help heal the world one person at a time, right?
That's right.
You do it through your music, you're doing it through your work now, and so I'm just so happy. The courses were starting in January, and that same week, the manager at the new restaurant, which for me was just a transition place, called me and said, we're ready to take you in. Are you ready? And I just jumped, yes. Indecisiveness is a program, by the way. So I've been struggling with indecisiveness as well for as long as I can remember. And that's because you don't have enough confidence in yourself, and you need validation from others outside of you, and you don't realize that everything is within.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you'll notice that I've changed since we've first got to know each other, because I was extremely insecure. And now, for the first time in my life, I swear, Jon, I have my life coaching certificate. I have the theta healing certificate. And I feel I've never had this much confidence in my life ever. I feel like I know I can help other people. I know from my experience, I needed to experience all of this. And this is what's going to be able to reach people and help people and empower them. I want to be able to, and one-on-one or group, whatever it is. But the service industry has always been in my blood. It's just changing into another way now. It's to uplift this beautiful world. And
that's so beautiful.
I can't believe that I'm where I am right now, honestly. And to have the guts to move out of here, it was planned for September. Sorry, I know you were going to say something.
No, it's cool. Go ahead.
It was planned for September because my sister is getting married at the end of August. And my son's like, why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? And I kept making excuses.
Yeah.
And the other group and Cornelius, they supported me and again reminded me about taking that leap. And everything will fall into place and lead you there. And that day, Nicholas literally spoke in the chat group of 100 people on the video in the coherence healing, which is, I think, the first time he ever had the courage really to just go in there. And he said, let's get my mom to manifest this and to make that decision, basically,
Wow.
So just after we did that, and Cornelius like, Nancy, look, you've got your sidekick. You've got him. You're not going alone. You're not alone. So everything is just falling into place. It's absolutely It's
That's
miraculous.
incredible. And yeah, congratulations. It's such an inspiring journey. And you said, like, our words have magic. And you said, my life, and learning that when you really learn to love yourself, loving yourself and unconditionally loving yourself means that you want the best for yourself. And that by doing that, you can have, balanced, mutually respected, unconditional love relationships with family, friends, partners, with your life, with your work. And it is just so, I just feel that there's such a strong, inspiring, you inspire me. Your story is just incredible. It's like you're describing, I think we're part of our programming is like we're almost very used now, we're used to hearing about people saying, I was this before and I then did this. And you're seeing the after version of the person. You're seeing, they've come through their wall of fear and then they've stepped into the unknown. And it's such a different person that comes out. It's like some sort of interdimensional portal, the before and after. And
The
and to
transformation.
yeah, absolutely. And some of whilst mine are still they're I haven't quite braved it and left a full-time job. But when I took the leap to go part-time, because I'm the primary wage earner, and I knew that I wanted to have more energy for the things that for the people and the things I love, the things that make me happy. And I didn't know that it existed, that I could go part-time. Like it was like a stepping stone. And I said to my wife, and she said, do it, but don't just fill your days with like a second job. Like don't just fill it with, it can't just be all music or all meditation or all, you have to like take time to receive, to don't just like be as manic doing other things. And I said, it's a deal. And she was, and trying to explain it to her, she was like, so what would it mean for money? I said, I think I want to go to, I said, maybe 4 days a week. She said, don't do 4 days. Like 4 days is like, it's 5 days in 4 days, right? You're not going to really benefit. Do 3 days. And I was like, no one's ever done this. Like I'm a senior manager. Why would they say yes? And so I just, the next week, I just went to my boss and I said, this is what I'm doing. I'm applying to go 3 days. And he was shocked. And he just immediately said yes. And I was like, and then I was shocked. And I was like, what, you mean yes? and he said, you're great. We don't lose you. We'll work it out. Let's just figure out a day it's going to happen, and then let's do it. And like you say, all these things, like if you really believe in miracles, they do happen, right? And so when you take that leap of faith, it's like the universe saying, I see you. You've just taken a leap of faith. And good news is the universe rewards the brave. And so
Yes.
immediately I got like completely surprised. I got a pay rise, right? So they said, oh, you're going 3 days a week, but we're also giving you a pay rise. Am I really? And why? And I was looking at it, it's like, wow, that's not that much. There is a reduction in that salary, but it's like, it's nothing what it would have been. And then these other opportunities have come up to like to be able to spend more time with my family. Some of my wife's hours have adjusted, and I've started to do things. It's only been a month now that I've been part-time, but I've been doing things like I've camped a couple of nights just with myself and the dog, the dog packed, just to like experience it. I've done things I've never done in my life before. And that sense of freedom is just so it's so powerful. It's like so infectious. And I have also learned so far, even in the first month, to just like to take time. Sometimes I almost like have this like mental calendar, and I'll just say, I don't write it down or anything. I'll just say, probably for 2 hours tomorrow, I'll do nothing. Like that's my time. Or I'll go out for a walk, and I'll set the intention to receive. And so you just like go out for a walk in nature and just receive, and it's like, it is so so liberating. And yet the fear side of me, and so many people have said to me like, well, what are you going to do for money? And that was quite funny because that was before. And then after it, all I get now is questions a bit like we're discussing now, like, what's it like? Tell me what's your life like? Like what are you doing? What did you do for the last 4 days since I last saw you at work? And like, oh, I was camping for 2 days and I did music for a day, and then we did this as a family. And you're like, you just feel you yeah, I feel truly blessed. But I just want to share again some of those the fears that I had about making that leap. And and it's really funny. I also have these like programs of like, what about a pension? What about my financial future? And I'm like, I know that it's not only going to be looked after, but now I've got a far greater chance of truly manifesting what I want out of life.
Yes. And so you recognize by having made that decision of going down to 3 days part-time, the quality of life has changed. So when your quality of life changes for the better, it's like you said, then everything is going to be shown to you and brought to you and flow. Because when we start to worry and start thinking about the pension, right, you're going to stifle the flow of everything. So it's really the crazy thing of letting go and trusting. It's not something very easy to do, but you're already doing it. I mean, you're in it. You're in it, and you're already doing your work. You're balancing all these things, and I bet that I like you said, you have this freedom that you're feeling, and you have more time for your family, and it's not like on the go, on the go, on the go all the time, right? There's more
Yeah,
value in what's going on, right?
it's so true. And it's like the energy. It's like I knew what there was a couple of people that had helped inspire me to do this, and one was Nella Mahat. And she said, she was just asking me like, why am I working full time? And I think it's a really interesting question. And I was like, oh, because my answer was, oh, at the time I just need to like, I'm progressing my career and I'll do it for as long as I need to. And I'm helping some people in my job and there's great responsibility. And she's kind of looking at me like, like a dog does when you talk human words to the like. She's like,
Yes.
yeah, I hear the words, but I don't get it. And one thing she'd said to me before was she'd said, well, writing a song every day and just like and she's describing how how it could be for me, where I don't want to be the guy that's just rushing out a song every day before his corporate day job, almost squeezing in those minutes of my passion in the day, which you're only bringing to that creation and bringing the creativity and the energy of someone that is rushed. And then you're projecting out into the universe like, hey, everybody, you could do a song in 10 minutes. Go. And like, you're done. Okay, back to work. And what I wanted to do is actually say, well, I know, imagine like the kind of higher vibration of me, like the version of me that's really stepping into their power and into their dreams and bringing out that inner child in me is going to play much better music, is going to create with so much more fun and excitement. And that was so appealing, like having that sense of, hey, you're right, like there is another version of me, a bit like I saw before my awakening, like there's this other version of you that doesn't drink every day and then wake up in the morning with a hangover. And now I'm like, hey, there's this other version of me that doesn't wake up in the morning stressed that he can squeeze out a song before his day job 5 days a week. And then you're like, yeah, this is, and you start, like you're saying about, we use the example of the pension. It's like, it's something in the future, but you're always living it in the present. Like you're
Exactly.
always, if you're always worrying about the future, like it's this, like in that case, a perpetual sense of lack.
Yes.
And what I now feel in such a greater volume is this feeling of gratitude. It's like, I'm so grateful for the energy I have, for my passions, for my loved ones. And how's that journey been for you, like from that moment that you said, okay, I'm leaving my job? Like what was it like in the few days afterwards?
For myself or the people around me?
Yeah, for yourself.
I think, when I made the decision and I sent the email, I went onto the floor to start my shift, and I was kind of like feeling nervous for like half an hour. And then all of a sudden I just felt this calm come over me and this peace. And I just knew in my heart I made the right decision.
Wow.
And of course, fear comes in a little afterwards when you start and you start seeing the money running out a little bit. It
Yeah.
did run out, but I mean, I still had food in my fridge. I still had gas in my car. I still had, throughout the pandemic when the restaurants were closed, we were living on smaller means. So I learned how to adapt to that, So it was like as if I was being prepared for this. So I did have the trust. I just want to plug my laptop. Hang on, I
Yeah,
don't want
sure.
to lose you.
No, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I love that.
it was just, and I had so much support too. It's gonna pull this back a bit. I had so much support also from well, my son. He's absolutely incredible. I mean, with this process, having left that last relationship, him and I have, like, he's evolved also, and
Mhm.
he's so aware of the ego. I
Yeah.
mean, he's so aware of the system. And even in school, when he was in school, like now he left school. Okay. He was in an adaptive program, he had diagnosis of ADD and a language disorder and all of these things that, are programmed,
Mhm.
and and I'm okay with him having broken out of that old system. For me, I'm comfortable. At first, it was, oh my God, we can't do this. You got to at least get your high school diploma. Da, 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 da. But that's the old program, right?
Yeah.
But I know that you can do anything without that high school diploma either,
Yeah.
right? So as long as you have parents that support you and encourage you on your journey in anything that you're into, I know if I had that, it would be a different story. And just to go back to the life coaching program and the theta healing, we did an exercise for the theta healing on trying to dig back into a core belief.
Mhm.
So we have these belief systems, these programs within us that are on our soul level, on this lifetime level, from in utero, the ancestral level, soul level, and the history level.
Yeah.
And we went back in this life, and I went back with this question: where something came from. And I was in high school, I was graduating high school. And I remember I said I wanted to be a social worker to my mother. And she said, and I was going to go to college for that right after. And she said, oh, you shouldn't do that, because you're going to bring all people's problems home with you. It's going to affect you. And so I didn't do it, but I wanted to help people. But I get it. I understand now because I'm an empath. So I
Mhm.
feel other people's emotions and their energies. And I've never been able to navigate it until now. Now I've been learning how to do this. And I know my mother is the same way. So, but just to show you how the program, how it happens, right?
Yeah.
So, and then it went even deeper. It went farther back when I was much younger. And my father compared me to my sister for our report cards. Why can't you be like your sister, have better marks like her? So right there, I'm not good enough. So that carried throughout my whole life. So having known that now through the theta healing clearing, we're able, connecting with the creator of all that is, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Um, we're able to release that. So it's like all this work has just been clearing the way. And this is why now my confidence level is, I now understand that little Nancy that I connect with on a regular basis. She used to hide in the corner when I would meditate and go reach her. But the work was going back to her and
Mhm.
pulling her out of there and giving her all the support and all the love. And now when I connect with her, she's just like, jumping around with her pigtails, little white dress, and three cherries on the front of the dress, and the little bangs. And I'm just like, oh my God, I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of what you've done and where you are now, So that's just, it's so magical because, right, they say time is an illusion. The past and present and the future exist simultaneously.
Yeah.
So it's like you cleared something there, and then now you're in the present, and you're aligned. So that innocence and that confidence that I had before I got, the trauma,
Mhm.
is has now connected, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so much more I
That's
want to say. How
incredible.
much time do we have?
I can certainly do, if you're okay, we do another 20 minutes or so.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. Okay.
and what I loved about what you're expressing there is that, first of all, you didn't, when you took when you took the leap of faith, you didn't have a plan, but also, um, there wasn't. It's not like you knew that there was five different professions, this kind of 3D world professions you could just go. I could be, a doctor, a nurse, an electrician, a mechanic, or work on oil rigs or something, and it's going to be one of these, and I'm just going to like take some time and then decide. Like instead, you're like stepping into the unknown. You're like, I don't really know what it is. In fact, like, and then you're seeing things coming up, and you're like, oh, I quite like the sound of that. That resonates. I'm going to try it, and just go for it. Um, and what I love about that the fact that you've not clung to an expectation of what your future looks like. That because beneath all these programs that we have, there is this, and as well as our infinite abundance, is the simple fact that there's no like qualification or no job title for what you're doing and what you will do in the future. And I get that, for instance, with darkness clearing. So some people will say to me, "Well, who taught you?" And you're like, like, are you qualified? It's like there aren't qualifications in this. There's
It's your
and
experience.
and there's very yeah, and there's very few people that would that would sign up for it. um, uh, and
Because it's a lack of
and
understanding
yeah,
once you
exactly.
explain
And
it.
yeah, and I just like, for me with that leap of faith, I had a reading with Jenny from Starseed Academy, and
Mm.
it was a very small part of the reading. She just said, your gift is like using this golden light and it's clearing. I see you doing this. Gaia, the spirit of Gaia, wants to speak to you. She has a mission for you. And I immediately accepted it. I don't think even knew what it was. And I just said, I'm in. And she said, yeah, you're going to clear darkness. I'm going to do what? Like, yeah, you're going to like, use your hands and your energy, and then like see it doing this a lot. Go for it. I'm like, oh, okay. And you were there right at the beginning, when I was like, I don't know what I'm meant to do. So here I am with a trusted, beautiful soul, and what I love about those adventures that we're going on is that, it's so polar opposite to the programs that we taught. That we're not good enough, that we're not abundant, that people have to teach us everything, that we can't just learn by ourselves, and that no, there's nothing uniquely magical about you. You're just like another minion, and it's like the
Yes,
opposite is
a
true.
minion.
Um,
Nicholas calls them NPCs, my son. We're programmed to be these NPCs,
yeah,
which we talked about on Unbiased on the Fence, I remember.
yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Um, and have you, when we talk about your future, what does that, what does it feel like to you? Like, what is it, if there's like that version of you that's just a few minutes ahead in the future, that's really in the present, like what does that feel like now?
It's it's all magical. It's it's magical. It feels like what I came here to do. I'm finally I've woken up to it. I remember who I am now, and I remember what the mission is. And it's not about me. It's really about all of us. You know, it's about helping helping ourselves and the class. And the way to help everyone else is to heal within. It's one person at a time. When you heal yourself, it just spreads out. And that's what I see. It's like all these light workers, you see their lights like all, if I imagine the planet, I just see all these light workers all over the planet and even outside of the planet, and it's just shining brighter and brighter and brighter, and humanity is just like, I know that we're going to be, this world is changing. We're going to be in a much different world, and I'm pretty sure it's in our lifetime, John. I
Yeah,
know we're in the beginning of this, absolutely.
yeah,
And there's no time to waste. And that's the thing. When you get to this point, you know, oh my goodness, we got to start this now. There's no time to waste. When you feel that you've got this responsibility, and exactly that, it's not about you, you know, then you feel like, I don't like to say a purpose because a purpose is very limiting, but we've got limitless potentials and people don't know it and they can't tap into that. So we got to go out there and help them out. And
yeah.
that's my mission. This is what I want to do. And this is with the life coaching. I'm so excited to even start. And now moving to Vancouver, I've I've managed, I'm going with no job. Okay. Next weekend is my last weekend at the restaurant. I've got my life coaching certificate. I don't even have my website yet. I've got one client I'm working with on now. I've been practicing. I was practicing with many others at the beginning of the courses, but I, everything worked out in a way where I'm pet sitting for 2 weeks when I get there. We're driving across Canada. So I've always
Wow,
wanted to do a trip like that.
that's amazing.
Um, yeah. And after that, we managed to get, oh, so incredible. I don't know if you remember Lori Lothian, but she's been on
Yeah,
Unbiased on the Fence a few times, and
yeah,
she had connected with me a long time ago when we were at the beginning of Unbiased and on the Fence after an
mm,
interview, because I said in the chat I was from Montreal and she was visiting. So she had connected with me. We went out for coffee. There were so many synchronicities. She ended up moving into Montreal. So, you know, we had dinner, we, you know, hung out a bit. And then last summer, she went back to live in BC. And I told her, hey, I'm going to BC next year. So we've always kept in touch. And I asked her, if you ever hear anything about pet sitting somewhere around that's not too expensive, you know, let me know. So, like I said, it's everything is lining up if you just trust. So I let it go. And I've been getting all these declines from, like, I applied at like 20 different house sittings and dog sittings. I got this one. I'm so happy for that. But I know why I was getting declined, because the universe or consciousness was setting this thing up where she had a best friend that lives in the same building as this couple that rent out the Airbnb their apartment, because during the pandemic they couldn't really come back,
mm,
and it's very pricey over there. And like, I do not have a lot of money right now. I know I'm abundant, but I know we can get through things without money also.
yeah,
And she connected me with her best friend that lives in that building, that organizes the people that stay in that apartment. And they just needed a few more weeks to fulfill the, you know, for to claim the Airbnb or something for tax purposes or something like that. So they connected me with the owners, and I just explained my situation. And I said, you know, my mom and son, single mom, completely changing my life, completely changing careers, driving across country to to focus on working on my online business for the life coaching. And there, I don't have a lot of money. Would you accept this amount? And I offered $1,000 for 7 weeks, and she accepted.
wow,
So
so
that was
beautiful.
so for now, I'm set up for the summer, because anyway, I got to come back for my sister's wedding, but I'm set up for the summer. All I have time for is doing this work and helping
Yeah,
people through the life coaching.
it's so amazing. What an amazing journey! That's so exciting, and you get a road trip as well, maybe two.
Yes.
That is fantastic.
Oh
And
my
I
goodness.
really I love that. you've had like, you've known the place you want to get to, but then you've not been like, you haven't set up expectations about what it's going to be, where you're going to live, and
Exactly.
the constant, like, the elephant in the room is like, well, where's the money going to come from? And it's really tempting. As I saw this is quite funny, this Instagram advert. It's come up a couple of times in my feed, and it's this guy, and he says, you might have seen it, and he says, "Are you a light worker? Why don't light workers earn much money?" And then at that point, I just like dismiss. I'm like, this is not like, come on, guys, like, please behave. And I don't see the two as mutually exclusive. Like, you can follow your dream and you can have money, and that's fine. You know, you can have both. It's completely up to every
Absolutely.
individual. And
Absolutely.
the thing I try and remind myself is that as I learn these gifts, you genuinely have the ability to change people's lives, and that you can't really put a price in it, right? You can have an energy exchange with someone and say, hey, I'm going to invest, my time. Sometimes it's easy to say, well, it's about an hour and a half or 2 hours of my time, and I need you to be able to exchange that with me. And I've done things like I do mixes of like free, quite a lot of free sessions. I probably do a bit more free than I get paid. And like, so you can just go on the website and either literally sign up for free or just sign up. And before I forget, I'll help you with your website. It's a
Oh,
deal.
that's so funny. I was thinking about that just before we got on. I was like, I should ask John to help me with all the
Yeah,
tech stuff.
consider it done.
Oh, I love you.
Thank you. And yeah, and I think that's so powerful, because what you're doing is you're saying, I'm starting up my business, and when I first asked the question, you're describing that it feels magical. It was almost like your heart chakra is like, it's like sticking out of your body, and it's like this kind of like rainbows and sparks, like it's spinning around, and it's like driving this super magical like future, but it's happening now. Like, it's just happening right now. And so every time you step into it and go, this is how I determine my next step. It's through this. I look through the eyes of this magic and this energy, and everything else just aligns around it. It's just, that is so beautiful.
My energy is so high. Oh my goodness, so high. Oh, this is so beautiful, and I just can't wait for the whole world to be in this energy.
Yeah, to really trust themselves. And there's a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. So before I forget, your guides were saying to me, as you were describing Kate's house, and like when you did the meditation and you looked up in the sky and there was like this kind of rainbow sparkles, like these colors in the sky. Just your
Yeah,
guide
that
was
happened one
saying,
evening.
yeah, your guide said that was for you. That was for you. So they just, I know it's hard to like take on board, because you're like, why would someone do that for me? Or like, how is that even possible? But they just wanted to know that was for you.
John, it's so crazy that you said that, because they had their backs to the window and I'm the one who saw it like first. And I may have been more whatever a year ago, but
Yeah.
you saying this now, I absolutely believe it. I absolutely believe that what you just said, that there's no way I can ignore it or deny it anymore. I
Yeah.
know that we are connected, and I know that this path, that I'm not alone, and that I'm fully supported. Like, I feel like I could just walk across the street without looking right now. I'm not going to do that, but that's how supported I feel.
Yeah.
That's how supported I feel, because I
Yeah.
never thought that I could feel this confident in myself, and that I could do so much for others.
That's so magical. And the beautiful thing is that, um like, this whole theme of our chat today, it's like this resonance that by taking action and taking that leap of faith and stepping through your fear, think of the effect that you have on others around you. Like, whether they show it or not, there's part of everyone that wants to do that. Every single person on this
Yes.
planet really does want to step forwards into their dream. And, you know, the old programs and paradigms will, easily catch up on some people. Like, they'll go, oh, I'm going to start my own business. And then they like recreate like the monster company that they just left. They're like, oh, and now I've got this new thing. And then it becomes a burden. Their dream becomes their burden. And so when you completely change your mindset and you're like, okay, so my leap of faith is unknown and it is magical. And I believe in that magic because it comes from me. I'm the creator of it. And all I need to do is keep working on myself, keep overcoming those fears, and then magic happens. I will not, I will be surprised and delighted by the things that happen and the people that come into my life and the people that help me and those that I can increasingly more clearly see that they're not here to help me. Just like today, someone tried to convince me to invest money in some company in New York. And I'm like, we didn't get as far as much past hello. It's like, goodbye. It's really, really simple. And, we don't need such big, extensive plans it's actually letting go of the plan that helps us step into our dream.
Do you find that you can detect the BS better now?
Yeah. Like you feel it. I feel like sometimes I see like the layers. So I'll see like the person that they're trying to be, and then behind it,
Yeah.
the person they think they are, and then
Mhm.
behind that, the actual person they
Wow.
really are.
Wow,
And
Jon.
like it's things like I've heard people say things like, I've had it when you go to a day job that you hate, your body's like, I really don't want to go, and my stomach's hurting, and it's often the same thing. Like, it's often like the
Resistance.
repeat resistance. So your body's a great tool for that because it's constantly telling you, it's almost trying to drag you away. Like, no, I'm too ill to go to work. Don't maybe do that. You're going to punish me with stress and self-doubt. I don't want to go. And the like I get that kind of same feeling when you're talking to people, right? And you just meet someone and you can tell very quickly that we live in this energy first universe. And so it's like their energy turns up, and it's like, if it's kind of a bit shadowy and like there's a bit of darkness there, but they're like this big smiley, maybe like young beautiful person, and they're like so successful with this big dream, and they're like, hey, would you like to join in this this amazing thing with me? And you're like, you're hearing the words and you see all the glamour, and you're like, but I don't know, I feel like when I eat this apple, it's going to like have quite a few worms in it because I can see them.
Yeah.
I see
See
inside
past
it.
the masks, the
Yeah.
layers of masks that's just all programs. Oh, it's so sad for people who, well, I mean, I was there too, so, but
Me too.
it's just beautiful to know that, we can shine, right? Our light, the light within, enlightenment is the light within us, that it's there, and when it comes to the surface, people can be like, wow, what's she on? I want what she's having. I want what he's
That's
having,
right.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. And it's an incredible journey, and I live every day with attitude of gratitude as well, and that's also a big part of this. This is the big part of my shift from the beginning, just before I got onto Unbiased on the fence, was practicing the attitude of gratitude on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And now I'm just catching up with that version of me.
That's
That's
so beautiful.
yeah.
And what's really funny about our stories is that at no point did either of us describe this external personal or thing that we had to step through to step into our dreams. Because that's often what goes on in my head. Like, I will project things like, before I'd say like, it's my boss or my wife or my friends or my, like, there's just, or money, or you'd project this thing and say there's this problem that I need to step through to be able to step into that dream. And and actually what we both described is like the opposite, which is actually it's just us. Like it's in us.
We stop
It's the,
ourselves.
yeah, it's the hard part. You do your shadow work, like face
Shadow
that
work.
fear, see it, feel it, embrace it, hug it, give it a big kiss, and say it's okay, ego, it's going to be fine. Like we've got this,
Exactly.
and just step through it. Wow. Like we have definitely got to do a follow up in in a few months' time,
Oh yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, please. Oh please.
and I'll definitely have to come out next time I'm out in Vancouver. I'll come and say hello for sure.
That would be amazing because I know it's easier for you to get there than to get to Montreal.
Yeah, that's right. It's so funny. It's easier for me to get there than London. I go more often to Seattle or Vancouver. So that would be amazing. So yeah, I just want to say just a massive thank you. And do do you have a website yet, or should we build it and share it?
I don't have it yet.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about it on offline. But I do, if anybody is interested in life coaching or
Yeah.
the free consultations, obviously to start, all the consultations are for free. So if anybody knows anybody
Mm.
who like what I came up with, what my niche feels like to me, because it goes along with my experience, is about empowering individuals who feel stuck in their lives
Yeah.
to to ignite their passions and to, you know, by uncovering limiting beliefs
Mm.
and setting up an incredible, you know, mindset, you know. And you know, we're taught this thing where there's this formula where you write the mindset plus actions equals results, but most people think that it's about a 50-50% for the actions and the mindset. Like what would
Yeah.
you think it would be, John? Just out of curiosity.
What now? About 100% mindset.
I'll tell you, it's actually 90% mindset and 10% action.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I've been doing. So the mindset needs to be worked on because
Yeah.
that's what blocks it all, right?
That's so true.
It blocks us from reliving our full potential and aligning to limitless possibilities. I'm just so excited. I have no idea what's coming up next for me, and that's the exciting thing.
It is incredible, and it's just so beautiful to see you like stepping into your power and like true self-love, and you and your son just taking those such a confident bold leap, moving to the other side of it's almost a planet because Canada is so wide, and and just stepping into this unknown journey, which is feel like it's not known to your heart. Your heart's like, yes, 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 yes. It's like, I know this, I've done this, I've done it before in previous lives, I'm doing it again now, it's why I came here. And it's all like everyone's cheering for you. And yeah, please do, if you're interested in having a session with Nancy, please let us know in the comments, and I'll make sure I pass on any requests, and we'll get your
Absolutely.
website up and running pretty fast.
Yeah, free consultation lasts about half an hour to an hour, depending on you, and you do most of the talking. So it's really an incredible gift, and it's helped me so much as well. And I'm just so excited that I have this thing that I can offer to people. Honestly, I just want to help. And the prices after that are going to be on heart-based donation prices, so we'll figure all that out. But for now, this is where we are. This is where I'm at.
Fantastic. That's so
Thank you
exciting.
so much, John. Thank you so much. This was so much
Thank you.
fun. Hi to everybody who's there.
Yeah,
And
we have
I
so we've had or have Rita, Renee, Julia Hafner, and Ayana, and I think and Fifth World, April from Fifth World.
oh my
And
goodness.
apologies if I've missed anyone, but and Lena Music, she's I'm doing a collaboration with her. She popped by as well. So, and for anyone that's not active in the chat, is just watching or is watching replay, thank you so much for coming along. And your energy is felt. It is like is so beautiful to have everyone here.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy to have been here, and I can't wait for the next one, John. I can't wait.
We'll do it straight after this. We'll sort out your website and we'll get the next follow up scheduled. No matter if it's 3 months time, whatever it is, we'll make it happen.
Beautiful. I know everything is in divine timing, so I just
Yeah.
let it go. Thank you so much. Love to you. Big hugs.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Big hugs to you as well. Take care.
bye everyone.
Sending love. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Yeah.